Jordan Love got injured Friday versus the Eagles with 5 seconds left in that game, and this was devastating to the Green Bay Packers, but thankfully it was an MCL sprain. He'll be out for 3 to 6 weeks, which is a good thing because these few games are very winnable for Green Bay because this defense did amazing against Philly, and Philly has a top-tier offense, in my opinion. You have big guys like Jalen Hurts and a pretty good O-line and that wide receiving core, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. And so since that defense looked pretty good, the offense did okay. But this is a good-looking Packers team, and even though an MCL sprain takes around 3 to 6 weeks to heal, if it's a grade 2, but considering he's able to walk on it, the videos we've seen, he's been able to walk on it, willingly. He had a little bit of help that Friday night, but other than that, he's had just a little limp, and usually it looks like a grade 1 MCL sprain, and those usually take around a week to 2 weeks to heal. And from that Friday night all the way to this up-and-coming Sunday is around 9.5 days. So he might be ready, and that's what Coach LaFleur said yesterday as of recording. He said if Jordan Love isn't cleared, then he'll have Malik Willis starting over Sean Clifford. And this is really interesting, too, because Jordan Love didn't go on injured reserve as most do during injuries. So this will be interesting to play out, obviously, facing a decent Colts team. They had a pretty good offense. That defense couldn't really stop anything against the Texans last game. So if Jordan Love doesn't start, then we already have a pretty good defense. So we're counting on the defense, and we just need enough out of the offense. And if Jordan Love's out for the next maybe 2-3 weeks, that'll actually be good because the latter half, the end of the season, is a really hard schedule. This beginning part of the season is pretty easy. Week 2, this up-and-coming game, we play the Colts at home. And then week 3, we play the Tennessee Titans, traveling to Tennessee. Pretty mid-team to go up against. They scored 17 points in the first half, but in the second half, they got shut out by that Bears defense. And then week 4, we play the Minnesota Vikings at home. And so these up-and-coming 3 games, like I said, an MCL sprain, looking to be grade 1. He'll probably be back against the Titans or against the Vikings, which is good because in week 5, we play the Los Angeles Rams. And that team looked pretty good against the Detroit Lions this past Sunday night football game. And after that, we play the Cardinals and back to a tough opponent, to the Texans. And if Jordan Love takes the full 6 weeks, then he'll be back starting against the Houston Texans at home. And so all Packers fans are waiting on some more news if Jordan Love might play, if he's going to go on injured reserve. Obviously, this up-and-coming week with practices, we'll see if he's out for practices, if he's limited in practices. So it's just a matter of a waiting game. And if I'm being honest, I'd be so glad if Jordan Love's back. But I'd say wait another week, come back against the Titans, because you don't want to re-injure that MCL. And that Packers offensive line is pretty good, but against that Colts pass rush, we don't know how many sacks he's going to take. And that could obviously lead into his movement, if he can get out the pocket or not during pressures, if he can throw the ball away quick enough. So that's the real scary part. But now let's assume Jordan Love is out for the full 6 weeks. We play the Colts at home. I do think we barely smidge out a win against the Colts. And the Titans, I do think we just steamroll the Titans. The Vikings will be a good game, week 3. I do think we end up dropping that game. And then next week we play the Rams in LA. I think we also drop that game. So without Jordan Love, week 4, I think they are 2-2 without Jordan Love. But then you go into week 5 without Jordan Love, and they play the Arizona Cardinals. I do think a dub is seen in my eyes. So 3-2 could be the possible record without Jordan Love. And then he'll return week 7 against a pretty strong opponent, which is the Houston Texans. And then when he comes back against the Houston Texans, that's when the season starts to pick up and becomes pretty hard. Because after that game, the Packers play the Jaguars, the Lions, the Niners, the Dolphins, the Bears, the Lions again. And then it starts to climb back down against the Seahawks, Saints, Vikings, and Bears. And so there's just a lot of questions on this Packers team. It's definitely a waiting game for the next week. Up until Sunday, we'll obviously need to look out for those practices and see if he's practicing, if he's limited in practice, or if he's practicing at all. But all to the Packers fans, going out to all of them, these next few games without Jordan Love are very winnable. And it's sad, obviously, yes. It's so disappointing that Jordan Love got injured. But it's a good thing that he got injured in the beginning of the season, because the end of the season is going to be really, really hard. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Share your thoughts on what you think about Jordan Love's injury and how the Green Bay Packers are going to do without him. And that's all the Packers news for me. And peace.